learning a Maamar now from Shabbos Parshas Nasa, Yud Beis Sivan Tov Chav Hey. It's also in the same Dvar Malchus. Next page. Nasa is Rosh Bnei Gershon Gam Heim. Count the heads of the Bnei Gershon, also them. And the Alter Rebbe analyzes this in Likutei Torah. Yesh lahavin lamed namar b'nei Gershon Gam Heim. We need to understand why, when it comes to the family of Gershon, of the three Levim family that were involved in the Mishkan, why does it say also them? The point of the explanation of this is the idea of raising up the head, literally counting the heads, but obviously the reason why he instead of using a different term for counting like mispar, minyan, pkida, etc., he uses the word nasai, is also to indicate the literal concept of nasai, which means elevation. And what are we elevating the head to? Well, lahalis is b'chinas haroish, to raise up the head to a higher level than the head. What's the level that's higher than the head? The b'chinas harotzen, to the level of a will. Shalom ma'ilum naseichel. The level of will is higher than intellect, and the level of will is the level of a keser. It's the level of keser, like the crown that sits on top of the head. And the primary elevation occurs through being involved in Torah. That's the will of above. More specifically, there's an advantage in Torah also over mitzvahs. The mitzvahs are also the will of above, Hashem's will. So why are we talking about that primarily? What brings the Nasa Yisroish, what brings the elevation of the head to beyond the head to the will, is Torah. Seemingly mitzvahs have that benefit as well. But still in all, the mitzvahs are only transcendent. Just like when a person does a mitzvah, it primarily has to do with the external aspects of their being. They put on tefillin, they wash their hands, they learn, they daven with their mouth, they read Krishma with their mouth, etc., etc. So it's external. And that's why the Alter Rebbe says in the beginning of Tanya in Perek Daled Hey, that from mitzvahs become levushim in Gan Eden, garments in Gan Eden, because mitzvahs are likened to a person's garments. It's makif. But the mitzvahs' revelation does not shine in a way of a light that internalizes and goes inside of the person mamish. But the Torah is mamish, a light that is internalized. It's likened, therefore, to food, and from that becomes the food for the neshamas in Gan Eden. The Alter Rebbe says in the beginning of Tanya, because Torah is internalized in the person. The Torah comes into the person and is kaviyach, like digested within him. That it's internalized. Now, sometimes or often in Chassidus, when we talk about the level of makif and pnimi, makif is often referred to, if not most of the time, referred to as something higher than the pnimi. Here, we're going to talk about the pnimi being that it's internalized in the person. It's shorish is from a pnimistic level as well. Visharsha, he says in line 12. Gam kem b'chinimis hakeser. Its root is also from the inner level of keser. So though mitzvahs also have the level of raising up to Ratzna Elyon, raising up to the keser, but it's only the chitzonius part of keser. Torah, on the other hand, since and because and connected with the idea it's an or pnimi, also has to do with pnimius hakeser. So, when it comes to the Kos family, their job was to carry the aron that contained the luchos. Nemar, Nasias Rosh. It says raise the head because they were about the luchos. The luchos had Aser Sadibris, which encompasses the entire Torah. So therefore, through Torah, they had the idea of raising up the level of the head to higher than intellect, the level of Ratzon, to the level of Kes. Gam b'nei Gershon, but also the family of Gershon. Kivin shenasos hayiriyas. since their job was to carry and transport the Yeriyos, the coverings of the Mishkan, which the coverings is Bechinas HaMakiv, that's transcendent. That's the level that surrounds the outside of the Mishkan, that makes up the outside of the Mishkan. So it has to do with a level that's also transcendent and encompassing. So their job mimicked the idea of mitzvahs. Dugmas Hamshacha Shaidea mitzvahs, it's similar to Hamshacha through mitzvahs, Lachein Namra Behem Nasa Yisroel. Therefore, by the Bnei Gershon, it says, also the idea of raise up the head, it's also elevating to the level of Keser, because we said before, mitzvahs are also going up to the level of Keser. But Kol Makim, still in all, Maamar says, Bnei Gershon Gamehem, that the children of Gershon, the family of Gershon, also them. In other words, they are only secondary to what the Bnei Kahas did. Since by the Bnei Gershon, its idea of Yodiyah is indicating the mitzvahs, it's a level of Makiv, therefore, it's not the utmost highest level. As opposed to the primary idea of the raising up of the head, reaching all the way to higher than Seichel, to the level of Keser, Namar Bnei Kos. It says by the family of Kahos, and also Saluchas, since they carry the Luchas, that the Luchas hasn't the Aseres Adibris, that's the level of Torah, which is the level Shemeir B'chinas Pnimius, it's Meir in the level that's internalized. Therefore, it says by them, that's the main Nasai. They were the main carrier, they were the main elevators to the level of Keser. Whereas Gershon, which is symbolic of the mitzvahs, they were only also ran gamheim. They had an elevation, but not like the elevation of the Bnei Kahas.